Hey everybody, it's Josh. A lot of us feel like we must have some grand sign, some profound sign or vision while we are still seeking God. And when we don't get that sign, then it's not real. It's not meant to be. We might hear about others who have some grand vision. You know, I've talked about mine quite a bit. What we don't understand is that it must be to the point where we are humbled and broken completely before we get this profound sign. That's because until we are broken completely, until we are humbled before God, we are still slave to sin. We are dead in our sin. We are just nonstop giving into our desires and our emotions and our addictions. It's something that only God can break the chains of. But since we can't see that, since we can't feel Him yet until we are broken, then it takes being broken for most of us. Only a very small percentage of Christians I know who were born again were not broken in their sin. It is a deal with the devil. It is signing on the dotted line. All the addiction, the escapement, and the desire we give into, it's all of Satan. It is of this world. And things of this world we must not have love for. It is only through Christ that we must love the things of this world, the people of this world. We no longer get fulfillment from drugs and alcohol or, shallow relationships and lust. We are then free to truly love, a love that transcends all, a love that transcends everything in this world. In Romans chapter 6, Paul tells us that we are baptized into death with Christ. This is a death of the lowest form of ourselves, who made us slave to the sin in the first place. Upon our deaths, the deal with the devil is null and void. We follow the spiritual lead of Jesus and return anew, baptized in the Spirit. Romans 6:6 says, "We know that our old man was crucified with him, so that the body of sin would no longer dominate us, so that we would no longer be enslaved to sin. We know that since Christ has been raised from the dead, he is going to die again, or he's never going to die again. Death no longer has mastery over him. So it no longer has mastery over us once we are born again into him." In John 15:10, Jesus tells us that if we keep his commandments, we will remain in his love. This is why we feel the need to follow Christ and his teachings so strongly, because the more we obey, the more we feel his love. We feel the sting of our sins. After we were born again, it is all, I explained it like every single sin is now like a lashing on the back, or a nail in the hands and feet, or raw flesh scraping against splintered wood. You feel it all. We become desperate for Christ's love, as it becomes the only thing that truly matters in our life from then on. They hated Jesus because he told them the truth. They hated him for it, and they will hate you for it when you are born again, which doesn't seem like a very good reason to follow Christ. But I promise you, the rewards greatly outweigh the negatives. So I have to stop every now and then because the mosquitoes are eating me alive today. But once we are born again and are no longer slave to the sins, then we have a new master. But what happens then? Then the old master comes after us, and he comes with a vengeance. He is going to test us. He is going to mock us and shame us. He is going to do whatever it takes to make sure that we are not the new threat against him in the upcoming and ongoing spiritual war. The spiritual war never ends, but it is going to ramp up. And when that time comes, those of us who humbly submit to Christ are going to be the biggest threats.